And we are live. What's going on, Ohio Cannabis Report family? It's your boy Gerald Moore Jr. And welcome back to another episode. We've been gone for a few days. I was a little bit under the weather yesterday, but we were also kicked off for going against community guidelines. I was just trying to pass along some educational material, so I apologize for that. Again, just a disclaimer: this is professional use. This is for news, entertainment, culture purposes only. Nothing that you see on here is for sale. I am in a legal state. I'm in Ohio. And so, again, this is for entertainment purposes only and news purposes only. If you want to direct any of your comments or issues to us, please contact us at ohiocannabisreport@gmail.com, or you can hit us up in the direct messages on Instagram, Facebook at Ohio Cannabis Report. We thank you guys for all the support. Thank you to all of our subscribers. On this page, we're at 134 subs. So appreciate y'all. We've been growing and growing. I thank you guys for supporting the comments, giving us some likes, and adding to the conversation as well. Again, I'm only one person, so I'm a team of one right now. I produce everything on my own. So a lot of the content that you guys get is often me learning in real time as well. You know, I do get some tips here and there, but I am this isn't my my only business and job. So I try to do what I can to pull information and resources together to keep you guys informed with everything going on in Ohio cannabis and politics right now, and also news and culture. And obviously, they keep a lot of things underground too, in terms of the legal industry. So we're not hearing a lot of information coming out of the mouths necessarily of the CEOs, the executives, the politicians, business leaders, bud tenders, and people that work in these cultivation facilities. And so it's important for the community to ask questions. If you are purchasing cannabis from your local dispensaries, it's important for you to understand how that cannabis is being cultivated and processed. Is it in living soil? Is it aquaponics? Like, what are they using? What type of, if they're using pesticides, if they're using remediation. But these are things that you need as a consumer and as a patient. You know, when you get your packaging, typically it has either the Instagram information or the DCC information or the company's email or website, and you guys should be contacting them. Also, you guys should be exposing them live on camera. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't feel like they're working on the behalf of the culture, the patients, there's no better way to get your voice out than publicly online and force these companies to do better, right? Because companies don't really like bad press, and especially if you got engagement. And so, again, we're not backed by any of the companies in Ohio. The only company that we work with is App Girls Cannabis. So support them. They are a THC beverage based out of Appalachia. So we definitely support them. You guys can go to appgirlscannabis.com and find where they're being sold locally in Ohio. Also, you can order wholesale off of there as well. And there's a lot of things. Make sure you guys go watch our other video where I interviewed Josh Crozier, who's one of the founders of App Girls Cannabis. He gave a lot of great insight to what's going on with the hemp ban here in Ohio, that the governor, it was an executive order, but that order was also struck down in a ban by a Franklin County judge until December 2nd, I believe. So again, there's been a lot of movement going on. The Senate actually just struck down a bill that was put up by the House, a sub bill 56, I believe, that would have gutted a lot of issue 2 provisions. It would have gutted social equity and funds for the social equity and community fund. It also would have created a hemp dispensary license. So it just became real funky. So that was struck down pretty quickly and overwhelmingly by the Senate. And so again, the state of Ohio, issue 2 is still the law. So being able to grow up to 12 plants, being able to 21 and over, go to a dispensary, you can share, but based, through donation and, just offering caretaker. Obviously people are still going up to Michigan to buy weed. They're still limited on dispensaries in certain areas. We still have no social equity. We still have no craft grow. There's still no delivery. So there's a lot of room for expansion and growth in Ohio's cannabis industry. So let me know what you guys think about what's going on in the state. You can let me know in the comments, either live or when you see this. Also, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share the content. If you like the content, please share it. If you want to come on, shoot me a message. You can DM me, like I said, or send a message to Facebook or our email. So with no further ado, I'm going to do some headlines. Share my screen. Let's get some cannabis headlines. See what's been going on out here. All right, so you have Northeast Ohio child finds piece of candy possibly containing cannabis. The Copley Police Department received a singular report of a child finding a piece of candy that may contain cannabis. Stillwater City Council denies cannabis shop permits request near rec center. That's Minnesota. I don't know. That's Kentucky. Kratom. Let's see. I don't know why they be giving me. Voters reject allowing marijuana business in Lima Township. This is Lima, Ohio. No, that's Michigan. Sale of kratom. Seeing a lot of kratom. I don't know what that kratom shit is. Woman charged with drug crimes. Michaela Eder charged with an assortment of felony drug crimes took a witness stand. She told jurors and investigators, including FBI agents and members of the Northwest Ohio Crime Task Force, threatened to take away her young son if she did not cooperate with the authorities. Following a search of a Bay Grove residence and yielded marijuana, cocaine, methamphetamine, and other 24. Damn, is charged with 2 counts of possession of cocaine, 2 counts of aggravated possession of drugs, and 1 count of engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity. During her time on the stand Tuesday, Eder said she was unaware that her boyfriend of 4 years and the father of her son, Keyshawn Sims, was dealing in drugs other than marijuana. She said Sims had told her a package that was scheduled to arrive at the home in September 2024 contained marijuana when it actually held a large quantity of methamphetamines. Sim was arrested and is serving prison time for the incident. Father recalls threats. Scott Eder, the defendant's father, said he arrived at the residence 321 Big Road, which he owns, and early evenings hours, September 13, 2024, to finding 2 FBI agents outside the home talking to his daughter. She was crying, gasping for air. She was very distraught. Scott Eder said the told Keyshawn was trafficking and drugs through the mail. I was totally blown away. The defendant's father said he had earlier called Sims a good father and a pretty decent guy. Niggas is just trying to make a living, you know what I mean? Like, damn. But, at the end of the day, people trying to make a living out here, you know what I mean? Like, 24, they young, and drugs is an easy way. And the weed, I get it. The methamphetamines, the other shit, cocaine, and I know, like, once you start dealing in some of that shit, the weed, cocaine, methamphetamine, I can't do nothing about that. There's doctors, there's insurance companies, there's pharmaceutical companies. They want their bread, bro. But I don't think no drugs really should get people locked up at the end of the day. You know what I mean? If it's harmful to children, like it's being, obviously sold around children and shit like that, different story. Putting kids in harm's way. But yeah, that's a tough one right there. Tough one. Salem, why is it? I didn't put kratom in that joint. Ohio could adopt regulations on hemp refined marijuana rules by Thanksgiving. A Republican state senator who has been instrumental in the legislation that aims to regulate recreational marijuana and intoxicating hemp products said that lawmakers may come to an agreement before Thanksgiving. State Senator Steve Huffman, chairman of Senate Health Committee and sponsor of Senate Bill 56, said there may be some sticking points, but he expects legislators will iron out their differences in conference committee in the coming weeks. He expects he will be among those on the conference committee, which should be appointed soon. I hope that we can get together and get some resolution in the next couple of weeks before Thanksgiving. That would be my plan, but there's some differences, he said. SB 56, which passed the Senate earlier this year, was intended to clarify aspects of the state adult use recreational laws. After Governor Mike DeWine declared that he wanted to stop sales of intoxicating hemp products, while lawmakers came up with a legislative solution to regulate them, Ohio House members took quick action. Legislators in the House passed their version of the bill 2 weeks ago. It included amendments to regulate intoxicating hemp products. The Senate voted unanimously last week against just accepting those changes. That set up the need for a conference committee. DeWine's goal with the public health emergency was to ban the sale of intoxicating hemp products, while lawmakers came up with legislative solutions. However, that ban has been paused in court until at least December 2nd, meaning that Ohioans can still currently purchase intoxicating products. Huffman said one of the sticking points will likely be provisions on where hemp beverages can be sold on the allowable THC levels in those hemp beverages should be. However, he said that he doesn't foresee any differences to be insurmountable as legislators work towards a solution. We all have the same goal to get rid of bad stuff, the bad actors, and make it safe, particularly for children, Huffman said. Their love of the children is so creepy and weird, man. Like, just think old white dudes constantly like for the children. They go, what? Ohio has one of the highest sex trafficking, human trafficking rates. What are you talking about, sir? Y'all not investing in the education of children. That's for damn sure. But the children, get the fuck out of here because of weed. No, how about the alcohol, the pills, the mental health issues? Ohio Senate votes to change how drivers are tested for marijuana related to OVIs. The Ohio Senate has unanimously approved a bill that would update the state's OVI laws when it comes to marijuana. The update is necessary. Attorney Charles Rowland, a Dayton DUI, told this outlet because the state's current testing procedures for motorists, THC content can find them guilty of driving impaired, even if they haven't ingested marijuana in a month. Quote, you don't have to be high to be convicted, Rowland said. Blaze Catter, the president and policy chair for the Ohio Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, explained to the Senate Judiciary Committee earlier this year that this is because Ohio's law enforcement tests motorists for the compounds carboxy THC and an active residual compound that can be found in a person's system after their body breaks down delta-9 THC, the psychoactive compound within marijuana. It is unanimously understood by every scientific expert on the subject of carboxy THC is completely inactive within psychoactive properties whatsoever, Catter said. However, carboxy THC stays in the system for up to a month, and the mere presence of the compound doesn't necessarily point to impaired driving. As it stands today, an individual who legally consumed marijuana days, weeks, or even months prior to getting behind the wheel of a car could be found guilty of an OVI in Ohio, even if there is zero evidence of driving impairment. Wow, I like to hear that, baby. Yeah. Senate Bill 55 would eliminate the state's current standards that focus on inactive compounds in a suspected impaired motorist system and instead direct Ohio law enforcement to test for more indicative compounds. Basically, what the bill does is we're looking to test active metabolites to show more recent use of marijuana. Senator Nathan Manning, Republican of North Ridgeville, the primary sponsor of the bill, explained to his colleagues on the Senate floor, Manning admitted that the science of testing for THC compounds is not perfect and said that SB 55 reflects that reality. The bill states that motorists would be inferred as guilty if a urine test showed at least 25 nanograms of Delta 9 THC per milliliter, or if a blood test showed at least 2 but less than 5 nanograms of Delta 9 THC per milliliter, or if a saliva test showed a concentration of at least 5 nanograms of Delta 9 THC. The motorist could argue if this inference in court under the law, Manning said. However, SB 55 would also set a Delta 9 THC limit that, if found in the motorist system, would make them automatically guilty of operating a vehicle under the influence. The bill's proposed standard is 5 nanograms per milliliter of blood. Aside from unanimous support from the Ohio senators, SB 55 also received plaudits from the ACLU of Ohio, whose chief lobbyist, Gary Daniels, described it as such a noticeable improvement over current law during committee. The bill received repeated pushback from the organization's DUID Victim Voices, founded by Ed Wood, argued that SB 55's would result in a pathetically low conviction rate for motorists suspected of driving under the influence of marijuana. The Dayton Daily News recently reported that a study by researchers at Wright State University found that about 4 in 10 drivers killed in automobile crashes in Montgomery County over a nearly 6-year period had active THC in their systems. SB 55 will receive further testimony and debate in the House, in the Ohio House, where it awaits action from the House Judiciary Committee. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about that. Obviously, that's a very interesting topic and something that needs to be discussed consistently. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about that headline right there. Again, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Patreon. I got to get the Patreon going again. Substack. Not seeing a whole lot. Let's see, Southeastern Ohio, man. It's crazy that these white people selling mad drugs now, but you're still locking up black men for drugs.
In a major drug trafficking investigation has now been indicted. Rufus Wright Jr. indicted today by the Meigs County grand jury on 28 different felony counts. Wright Jr. is accused of trafficking large amounts of fentanyl, methamphetamine, heroin, and cocaine. The county prosecuting attorney says an arraignment hearing will be set for Wright Jr. at a later date.
I think I
know them people in Meigs County, boy. Bow, bow, bow. Can I smoke marijuana in public in Ohio? How Ohio lawmakers want to change. Ohio marijuana consumers couldn't smoke or vape anywhere in public under bill to revamp the state's cannabis program. The Ohio House voted 87-8 on October 22nd in favor of Senate Bill 56, which regulates hemp products and tweaks the recreational marijuana laws approved by voters in 2023. The bill is not a done deal. It now heads to the Senate, which again, the Senate struck it down, and lawmakers may convene a special committee to hash out their differences. Here's what you need to know about the law's potential changes. Can I smoke marijuana in public in Ohio? Right now, it's generally illegal to smoke marijuana in public, but the law isn't straightforward. It allows any public place to decide whether to accommodate marijuana use. Cannabis also falls under Ohio's cigarette smoking ban, which allows exceptions for outdoor patios, vaping shops, and hotel rooms designated for smoking. Businesses with liquor permits can allow marijuana use or can't allow marijuana use because it's still a controlled substance, according to the Department of Commerce. How would Senate Bill 56 change marijuana smoking rules? Senate Bill 56 would ban the smoking and vaping of marijuana anywhere except private residence, which I'm in my private residence right now. It also prohibits smoking in homes that serve as child care facilities or transitional living. Landlords can already ban tenants for smoking marijuana, provided the rules in their lease. But the bill allows them to prohibit vaping as well. So, again, that's pretty much what we got here for Ohio cannabis news and updates today. Make sure we end the stigma by having open conversations and dialogue. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Also, go check out my book, Courage in Cannabis. You can cop that on Amazon, or you can hit me up again on the DMs. $25 from me. I'll sign it, put a message in there. If you buy it on Amazon, I believe it's like $15, or you can get it for even lower as an ebook. So again, appreciate the support. This is the official author of the book, Dr. Bridget Williams, who is an Ohio cannabis doctor as well. So you'd be supporting a lot of different people. A lot of people wrote their stories in this book. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Peace, blessings, and love in the stigma. And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.